Hey everybody, and welcome to a brand new installment of Nintendo World Report at Night for Sunday, October 2nd, in this year of our Lord, Poppy 2016. I'm your host, Alexander Coffey. Today, joined by the infamous, famous producer of Nintendo World Report at Night, Mr. Donald Terrio. Hello, Donald.
Hello, I think my heart has finally started beating normally again after that game today.
It's not a good day for Boston.
Uh,
Uh,
well,
yeah.
you guys are still. I mean, you guys don't have to play on. You don't have to do a one game toss up on Tuesday to see if you're going to go any further in the playoffs. You're already there.
Here's the thing about that is that I don't think today was about the playoffs for the Red Sox. This was about the narrative that the Red Sox built in their own heads, like fans on our team. I'm a Boston boy that we built in our own heads of like it's Poppy's last game. He's got to go out on a good one. But the the funny thing about that is, although David Ortiz had like a really good game recently, he hasn't been doing like that crazy well this season, if I remember correctly.
He's putting up numbers. He put up numbers this year actually, which for his final season are really impressive, especially considering his age. But he was hitting like he was back in the middle part of the last decade. So like
Okay, yeah.
he did quite well for himself. He's going out pretty much on top, except he had an 0 for 4 today, and his last at bat he hit one about 15 feet.
Okay, so I acknowledge the fact that I'm completely wrong. But based on me being completely wrong, where that came from is I was at 3 Red Sox games this summer, and he got on base 0 times in all of those games. I'm sure the games I didn't watch, he probably did just fine. But I was looking at him, and it was like every time he went up to bat, it was just he either struck out or people were just catching his fly balls to center field. But maybe he's doing well when I'm not watching.
Yeah, because I think he hit 318, and his on base plus slugging was over 1,000.
I
So
guess that is pretty good.
that's some darn good numbers for a guy on the wrong side of 35.
Well, talking about something I consider myself more educated on, Nintendo news. There's none of it this week,
Well,
but yeah,
there's one thing, and it's mainly for Japan, although it did shed a little bit more light on something that's coming up for Nintendo this fall.
we have a news story, and we're also going to be talking about the absence of a news story. And then we got some what we've been playing. We got Paper Mario. I've been playing Yokai Watch 2. And then Donald's going to talk a little bit about the new River City game. But let's talk about this news first. Before we talk about the NX, as I'm sure that the people watching want to hear us talk about, let's talk about this Nintendo Classic Mini Famicom, which is for Japan. It is the classic Mini NES, except the Famicom unit will release exclusively in Japan. Basically the same thing as the Rob Amiibo. The Rob Amiibo in America was based on the gray NES, and then the one in Japan was based on the Famicom looking Rob. It's the same thing here, where it's still the classic Mini NES, except this is the one that's releasing in Japan, and it's modeled after the Famicom. Obviously,
Yeah, and
November
they
10th for 5,900 yen. Yep.
and they did actually end up releasing that Famicom ROM in North America and Europe as well.
Mm. The game lineup will be similar, but there have been some Japan-specific changes. Nintendo published Balloon Fight. Classic Mini Famicom exclusive. ER Kung Fu, Atlantis no Nazo, Solomon's Key, Tsupari Somo, River City Ransom, Final Fantasy III, Mario Golf Club, Downtown Street Challenge.
Which
River City Ransom would have been cool. A lot of these I just recognized from Game Center CX episodes.
Yeah, and I think that Arena-san was actually involved in some of the marketing for this because he's played, I think, pretty much every game in this lineup.
Oh yeah, isn't Areno just the best? Isn't he like the best messaging guy a game company could ever ask for?
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't brought him in full time to do the directs, but well,
Oh
you
yeah.
can't get many of those anymore.
If they brought well, here's the thing, Areno does not really know English. Like he's at like Miyamoto Kojima level English at best, where he knows a few words but not nearly enough. But him for the Japanese Nintendo Directs would
Yeah,
actually be pretty tremendous. I just want to say it looks really cool. It's the one that I don't really care much about the classic NES, but the classic Famicom, just leaving it sealed in box would be a cool thing to just have up in your room.
Yeah, I would get one of these, except the controllers are hardwired like they were in the original Famicom, and since it's the mini controllers, they're about the size of one of my glass lenses.
And the classic NES ones, are those wired, Donald?
They are wired, but they're wired for about 3 meters because they can also be used as a classic controller on a Wii remote.
I thought so. I want to see if it's up on PlayAsia now. What were you saying, Donald? Oh, Nintendo Classic Mini Famicom.
Yeah, it was up on Amazon. It is already sold out because it's one of those things that actually ships to North America and Europe as well.
Soon announced pre-orders opening soon, expected to ship November 10th, 2016. Let me ask you this, Donald. So on Amazon, the way they ship their Japanese stuff, because I remember this was a story like a year ago, how they're shipping worldwide now. Do they charge you the dollar equivalent? Do they charge you $1, or are you just expected to buy Japanese Amazon gift cards to get them to ship it to you?
I believe you can use Western payment methods, so you would pay a conversion, whatever your conversion fee is for your credit card, but you can use a credit card on Amazon, an American credit card on Amazon Japan.
Okay, that works. Yeah, this Famicom looks cool. I'm looking at it.
Yeah,
we'll see.
It's just, yeah, you see there's a shot in our news story there that Chris Kohler actually grabbed from the trailer. That controller is freaking tiny. That thing is like almost unplayable for someone who has, standard size hands. So it probably would work out better for the Japanese market, because otherwise I think I said on Twitter, you have to either be like a 6-year-old or a presidential candidate in order to play that thing.
Yeah. So there's your Famicom news. Let's talk about the actual news that people want to talk about, or the lack thereof. Suave in the chat says, yeah, more NX rumors. I want to talk about this before we talk about the fact that there were no NX rumors in September. Isn't the NX rumor mill fucking crazy? Isn't like the fan base that has, I don't know if I would call it a fan base, but the fan base that has developed around the existence of NX rumors and the likelihood of NX getting announced tomorrow or in 3 days or in Tuesday or this Nintendo press event, which is for Olivia What's-Her-Face, or this we'll talk about the Beyond Good and Evil, Sean McCord, very soon. All these rumors, and then you look at these Reddits, and then people are starting to talk about the NX in I don't want to say a religious way, but there's a fan community being built around this console where we don't know anything about it yet, except that it's going to unify platforms in some way, according to the Pokemon people. The Ubisoft people are excited about it, and that it's supposed to come out in March. I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll talk about that soon.
Yeah, like you talked about the religious fervor, and we actually there's like a religious schism opening up between the team the people that are on the side of, it's going to be like what Eurogamer wrote about, and team, it's going to be the complete opposite of that.
Really?
Yeah, and some of the people especially in the subreddit are starting to creep me out. Like
it's just some people, huh?
I don't want to tar the whole community with that one brush, but
that whole community building a fan base around a console that doesn't exist yet. I mean, please, and then also please tell me more about the plot in Pokemon Sun and Moon. You know what? A lot of these people are the same people watching this right now. It's like, I'm not making fun of you. I'm making fun of just the idea that there's this excitement being built when there are zero facts. We don't even know if it's going to be good. It could be a total disaster.
It could Wii U on us, which, we had about 6 hours of Wii U morning today on this channel, so.
It could No Man's Sky on us. It could be on that level. I mean, not on the level of like that whole false advertising thing, but that level of people getting hyped for it and getting angry at it and like being excited for it for years and years, probably a little less than years and years in the case of NX, before the fact that before it finally comes to fruition that this thing is like, oh, Chair Goblin says Project Scorpio already has a fan base. Don't get me wrong, this is not limited to Nintendo fans. We're all crazy. All of us are insane. Donald's insane. I'm insane. You're insane. You should have seen me. You should have seen me around when Grand Theft Auto 5 screenshots were coming out, and I was looking at concept art screenshots to try to figure out what the draw distance would be. So I'm not like I've been there too. It's just now that I'm slightly removed from it, I'm just looking at it and I'm like, dude, come on, you guys should be better than this.
I mean, we know more about Project Serpico than we do about the NX because we know sort of what power neighborhood they're aiming at with that. Whereas the NX, I mean, if that there's some people in this fan subculture that's opened up that if that thing isn't 20 PS4s duct taped together, they're going to have a coronary.
Yeah, and if there's one thing I believe about the NX, regardless of the handheld thing, it's that this thing won't be as powerful as people want it to be. That's the one thing I think we're all gonna have to come to terms with. Some of us are more to terms with it than others, but if there's one thing I'm confident of, the Nintendo NX won't be a powerhouse because Nintendo doesn't want to. If they're already having a super advanced handheld device that docks to a TV, they can't afford a super powerful system because then you start getting into $400, $500, $600 territory, which is not Nintendo's market. It's consumer level, super consumer grade electronics. They're basically toys.
It's making money off of withered technology. That's been the philosophy for Nintendo dating back to the NES, and the one time they sort of got away from that with the GameCube, they got burned.
Right. I 100% agree. Let's go through some of this stuff. Beyond Good and Evil 2, there were some concept images that came out. That looks like it holds some merit. That looks like the kind of thing Nintendo would do. I don't care that much about Beyond Good and Evil 2. I think that ship has sailed.
I want to see the receipts.
Yeah.
I will not honestly believe that until we have it. I honestly won't believe it until it is either downloading to my system or I have a disc for it. And then again, if you said that to me 5 years ago with Bayonetta 2, I might have had a similar reaction. But Beyond Good and Evil 2 has been teased for so long. At this point, the only game that I trust exists less is Kingdom Hearts 3.
Kingdom Hearts 3 will come out in 2018.
2025.
You think that game is actually going through super troubled development?
I don't think Tetsuya Nomura can ship a game at this point.
Yeah. Oh my god, aren't you so excited to see how Final Fantasy 15 turns out? Because there are two options for it. And this is going to sound so hyperbolic, and I apologize in advance. But there are three paths for Final Fantasy 15. There's the path of it's a fucking train wreck, like people are rumoring it to be. I've heard Donald, you and I have both heard like a little murmurs that like, dude, this game's fucking fucked.
To be fair, that was before the most recent delay.
Right. But then you hear like all these other like people talking about it, and it sounds like it really might be fucking fucked. And then there's the other thing where we're all wrong, all the rumors were wrong, and this is the greatest game of all time, like it felt like they were trying to make in the early return marketing when it became Final Fantasy 15 initially. And then there's No Man's Sky, which is somewhere in the middle.
Where it comes out, it does all right, but it's nothing what anyone wanted, and there's eventually lawsuits over it.
A really low 6, like somewhere in like a less technically adept Final Fantasy 13 is one possibility. But yeah, Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts 3. Anyways. Yeah, go ahead.
Whatever happens to Final Fantasy 15, I'm not going to know until at least next year, and by that time, knowing Square Enix, it's probably going to be $20. So
yeah. Okay, let's see. I still have confidence in Mother 3 coming out this year, says Cherry Goblin. Probably not this year. Maybe next year. Maybe never.
Maybe it's the headliner for the whatever the new virtual console is.
Maybe it's the big launch game for the NX.
I
Virtual
would buy a day
console.
one for that.
Yeah. I really want Splatoon on the 3DS.
We have some
I
themes for you.
I used to think I really wanted Pikmin on the 3DS. Ooh, speaking of weird ass platformers that the one Pikmin turned into. I was at Target today and Chibi Robo Ziplash with Amiibo was $12. And I didn't get it. And I don't regret it at all.
I mean, the Amiibo's cute enough. I enjoyed what I played of it. It didn't hold my interest very long.
I don't I never played the original Chibi Robo, and if there's a top 5 Nintendo games that I never played that I've always been dying to play, Chibi Robo probably ranks on that top 5, maybe even top 3. I'm praying for an NX Virtual Console.
Well, I suppose they'd have to localize it because I don't think they put new Play Control Chibi Robo out in North America, did they?
Yeah. The new Play Control, no, they did not. I know that for a fact. No, they did not. Only the GameCube version.
Okay, because I mean, they put new Play Control Pikmin out this week, so anything could happen.
Longer than Last Guardian 2016. Kingdom Hearts 3 2019, maybe. Final Fantasy 7 Remake 2020. I bet the first part will be out before then, but don't forget it is a 3-part remake of a PS1 game. Bradford Gamer, Final Fantasy 15 is going to be the greatest disaster of all time. Since we got no news, what worlds would you want in Kingdom Hearts 3? That's a good question. Donald, you get exactly one world from any Disney series to add to Kingdom Hearts 3. What is it?
If the rumors are true, Twitter.
Oh, that's a cute joke, Donald.
Yeah, I mean, most of the Disney worlds that I would care about are already represented in the game, and I mean, maybe Star Wars if you want to go there.
Here's an idea.
That seems obvious at this point. That's going to be included in Kingdom Hearts 3 eventually.
Let me riddle you this, Donald. One thing I always lamented was the tragic early death of Epic Mickey. Like, Epic Mickey 1, I thought was, and still is, the best N64 platformer revival we've had since the N64 days. Like, I think by far, too, and I think people did not give that game enough credit for how faithful it was and how it actually evolved some of those concepts and how it was actually, like, kind of a pretty fun game and had a decent story despite the fact that it didn't necessarily end up being as dark as people promised. Epic Mickey 2, the Vita version, which was, fun fact, the best version of the game because it didn't have any of the technical nightmares of the other versions. The Vita version of that game was a pretty fun platformer, though not as good as Epic Mickey. And then it actually set up a pretty cool third game plot premise idea. And then there was also Epic Donald, which Warren Spector said was going, to me personally on Twitter actually, said was going to be its own unique thing, like a spin-off. So there were 4 Epic Mickey games, and only 2 of them ended up getting made. My idea is not an Epic Mickey world, but a world based on the old classic 1930s Mickey Mouse cartoons.
Like something besides Steamboat Willie to represent that era.
Steamboat Willie era, not the ones where they all wear blackface and it's a little creepy, but like the legitimate Mickey Mouse cartoons that like everyone like nostalgically remembers. I think that would be one decent way to go about it. Mother 3 would be an ironic launch title. Not Chicken Little. Epic Mickey was great. The sequel was trash, Cherry Goblin says. Sean McCord asked, the Vita version was the best. Really? Yes, it was, Sean McCord. The Wii U version was absolute dog shit. The Wii version, which I reviewed, was all right. And then I actually finally played it properly to completion on Vita because it was super cheap on sale once. and there was some problem with the paintbrush stuff because like you had to use like the either the touch controls or the sticks, and that wasn't ideal. But it fixed all the technical issues, and as an AI, Oswald was way better in the Vita version than any of the other versions, which is a weird thing to talk about during our NX rumor discussion-y thing. But that is like actually totally true. The Vita version of that game was the best, and that's something that actually might still be on Wikipedia. Is the team who was developing it, the reason why the Vita version came out so much later is because the team was actually working on it from a technical side. I like Ms. K3, Ms. 1K3 says like Mickey and the Beanstalk, where Donald goes crazy and tries to kill Mickey. I like the old, like slightly darker Mickey Mouse. The old Mickey Mouse is actually like weirdly mischievous and kind of an anti-hero. And I think like that would be a weirdly cool thing to put in a Kingdom Hearts game, especially to play off the weird musketeer Mickey that pops up in Kingdom Hearts properly as like one of the main characters. But I digress. The NX has not been announced yet, which is not Nintendo's fault because they never said it was going to be announced in September. But also, they're suggesting the system's supposed to come out by the end of March, and we're in early October, and it has not been announced yet. That is insane to me, Donald.
We are staring down a pretty hard deadline in which they're going to have to say something about the NX, which is about 3.5 weeks from now in their
26th,
financials.
right?
26th, yeah. But I hope that we get an announcement soon. It's probably not going to come Tuesday just because that's Pokemon News Day. So we'll have some news to talk about next week. No. But I hope they give some lead time because I need a day off to cover everything that's going to be when the NX comes out.
Yeah. Sean McCord says, if Iwata was still alive, it would have been revealed by now, which maybe he's saying slightly tongue-in-cheek, Sean McCord. I have no idea. I have no idea what Iwata would do if he's still alive. Nintendo works like such a well-oiled machine when it works like a well-oiled machine that it's so hard to know like who makes what call, whose vision is actually going through in each game, except when it's a sequel that sucks and Miyamoto claims he worked on it. It sucks because Miyamoto worked on it, which I'm saying slightly tongue-in-cheek, but not as tongue-in-cheek as I wish I was. The Iwata thing. I just hope Nintendo doesn't become like Apple, where like a few years after Iwata dies, they just get super, super scared of trying anything new. So they just end up on this super safe path, which is how Apple has totally gone in recent years.
I don't know, man. Ripping a headphone jack out of their phone took a lot of courage, or so they claim.
But we're also on Apple Watch, iPhone. It's how many things do they have that doesn't have a number attached to it at this point, right?
Yeah.
Like iPad, you got your Watch 2s, such and such and such and such. And Sean McCord says there used to be Nintendo Directs like every 2 months, but when he died, these are pretty rare now. Sean McCord, don't forget how much better Nintendo Directs have been, the 2 Nintendo Directs have been this year, than Nintendo Directs were last year. Nintendo Directs were 42 minutes last year and said absolutely nothing, except they had 2 moments that were actually worthwhile. Even though there have only been like 2 Nintendo Directs this year, it's game, 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 game. Big game coming out today. Game, 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 game. I'm actually, even though I wish there was one more Nintendo Direct-y thing like this, I still think it's fantastic. The Nintendo Directs they've had so far. Right, Donald?
Yeah, I mean they've been nailing. I mean, for what content they've had to present this year, which admittedly is not a whole lot, given the fact that half their developers are presumably working on something that we have no idea what it is or when it's coming out. They've been able to go rapid fire like that all year with little bits of levity, like, I don't know, Bill sending himself off to South America randomly in the middle of a direct.
Right. Yeah, I actually think the cute little jokes in these Nintendo Directs have been pretty good too. I'm not sure how I feel. I'm mixed on them giving Nintendo Direct announcements to all these people who are from Treehouse who clearly aren't great on the microphone. I kind of liked the slick presentation of Nintendo Directs of yesteryear, but it's still pretty good that they're trying to give everyone a chance at being in the spotlight on a Nintendo Direct, I guess. I don't know. I think it's a net positive how the way Nintendo Directs have been, and hopefully by the end of October there will be a third Nintendo Direct and not just two.
Well, we know there's one in November 2nd for Animal Crossing, so we're going to get one within the next 30 days or next month, but hopefully there's a second one in there.
Right. Play Series says, I'm legitimately curious if they'll continue the DS line after the NX comes out, since we all know the DS pretty much unintentionally replaced the Game Boy, and not another one was made. Donald, I'll give this one to you first. So what do you think of what Play Series is saying?
As far as like a 3D, like an explicit successor to the 3DS,
Something that says DS in it and includes the philosophy, carries forth the philosophy of the DS 3DS line.
if you, I can see that happening if you buy the theory of this being of the NX being something that's closer to a home console than a handheld. But if that's the case, if they're going to do that, they're probably not doing it next year.
Right.
I think because they still have all kinds of 3DS content that they could run out over the next 15 months and then bring out whatever the successor would be, February, March of 2018.
Yeah. If there's a DS that's not coming out in 2017. What I will say is the only thing keeping me from wanting NX to be the only Nintendo system from now on is that I'm one of the few people who really loves the 3D and 3DS and loves glasses-free 3D. I think it makes games look neat, and I think it gives like this handheld console a weird edge it wouldn't have otherwise. And in a weird way, it feels like a very small precursor to VR. Because VR, in a lot of ways, is even though it's not technically glasses-free 3D, it feels like glasses-free 3D. And like 3DS gave me that feeling first of like being immersed in a 3D space. So that's what I'm gonna miss if they do drop the DS line. But what would be even better than the 3D effect would be Nintendo having one system that they can devote 100% of their development resources toward. That's worth giving up the double screen and the 3D, I think.
Yeah. Although I think you'd be like 90% because they still have the other 10% working on mobile stuff now.
Right. But if they got Tezuka and Miyamoto helping out on the mobile stuff, like I'm not against playing a great mobile game. I have an iPad. I have a Android phone. I'm eager to play a great mobile game made by Nintendo. It's a new platform to play Nintendo games on. That's a great thing. It's just but that'll be negligible compared to having 90% of Nintendo's development force. You can play the good Mario 3D platformers, and you can get finally a console level, 100% console level AAA, not just from a sales perspective and a fan base perspective, but also from a tactical perspective. Video game, a Pokemon video game would be tremendous, Donald. Unmatched, I think. Like finally getting to the point where we can play our Pokemon games. So if they go in the direction of NX being the one Nintendo platform, I would be grateful. All in all.
Yeah.
Chenmaster 2, are you aware that Super Mario Maker for 3DS will not have stereoscopic 3D? I'm bummed by it. Also, the game didn't look that good on the Nintendo Direct. Also, the game doesn't seem to be that good unless they heavily update it. Super Mario Maker, they made the worst possible decisions in my armchair game analyst perspective. they made the worst possible decisions they could make with Super Mario Maker that they could possibly make. One of the best games Nintendo has made in the last 10 years. The best two games on the Wii U, Donald, are Splatoon and Super Mario Maker. And like they had the opportunity to finally adapt that properly to the 3DS. They took features out and made it look worse. It's just that whole thing is just a bummer to me. I don't know. I don't know though.
I'll wait and see how it reviews because I can do that now. I have Amazon finally got on the ball with their US counterpart up here, so yay, 20% off 2 weeks from launch. I'll wait, and if the reviews come out well, I can give myself something nice for Christmas.
Nice. Cherry Goblin, can you ask what the new 3D? Can you guess what the new 3D Mario will be called? Super Mario Dimensions. Super Mario something. Super Mario Double
128.
Trouble. Super Mario 28.
128. Yeah.
128. Oh shit! Finally, Super Mario 128 would be a pretty good name for it. But it would be a good name for people like us and not like any of the millions of kids who are their real audience in selling a new Mario 3D game. I just hope that Super Mario 3D, whatever, is not another Super Mario 3D World, Super Mario 3D Land game. I've told you this a million times before, Donald, but the Super Mario 3D blank concept was worth exactly 2 games, and it was the 2 games they made.
Yeah. Well, hopefully when they do that big, if they do that big reveal this month, that we see a good Mario game to go along, a new Mario concept to go along with it.
Yeah. But that'll probably get announced next E3, like they were talking about originally. Anyways, the last question I wanted to ask you, Donald, was do you think the NX comes out by March 31st, 2017?
Right now, I'm going to say yes, just based on the information that we have, and Nintendo doesn't want to shaft an entire fiscal year, which they would be if they don't release something big by the end of March. Come back to me in 3.5 weeks, and maybe I'll give you a different answer. But right now, I'm going on the assumption that I'll be buying something around the time of PAX East.
Sure, that's a very measured answer. I think what you have is the most correct answer at this moment. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say if it's their big console and they're releasing it with such little lead time as October to March, that hasn't worked out in anyone's favor many times before. I hope it works out for them, but I just don't see March. I see summer. It doesn't make sense to me that the NX will get revealed in October and be fully ready for a 100% totally complete launch in March. I see them announcing it now and forcing themselves to put it out. And then they have this weird 3 to 10 game launch that's like Just Dance, Zelda, some other Nintendo game that they're announcing at the conference, which is like C tier at best. And then that's what they launch with, and they make the same mistakes they made on the Wii U and Wii. Or I see them releasing the NX in the summer to early fall and then having more games ready. But I don't see this. They announce in October, they release in March, and they just have a stacked lineup of games we've never heard of before. That world does not exist to me, Donald.
Yeah, I think given how silent most of their development teams have been and how a lot of the things that we're seeing now from Nintendo are late localizations and sort of spin-off titles, I'd like to think that they have like 4 or 5 games that they can spread over about a 3-month period between a March launch and E3, when they can go whole hog with the second wave of titles.
Something in that Ocarina of Time slot, if you will.
Yeah, like or even like if it comes out in March, then they would need April. If they can have a big game every month or couple of weeks in April, May going into E3, that's going to that'll keep the platform vibrant. Because that was the huge problem with 3DS, that and the price. Mm-hmm. But it was, if you had if you had a fully stacked lineup instead of waiting 3 months to release Ocarina 3D, then maybe $250 could have been palatable for the average consumer. As it is, they had to take a bath on the thing for about a solid year with the ambassador price drop.
I agree. Yeah, it's 3DS is almost done, Donald. Isn't that crazy? The 3DS is almost done.
It's the first system first system I can say I was on Nintendo World Report for the entire lifespan from rumor to birth to death. So that'll be weird.
Wait, were you?
I only started coming to the site in 2010, and I only started on staff last year.
Oh, okay. So you've been as a reader slash listener of Nintendo World Report. I thought you were saying you were on staff when the 3DS came out. And I was like,
no.
no, you weren't, because I started in January 2012, which was still almost 5 years ago, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, geez, Donald. Fucking old, said the 22-year-old to the 31-year-old. It's 30 or 31.
32.
32. Jesus Christ. You grandpa, you. Okay. That's a good amount of NX talk, I think. We got to talk about some Epic Mickey too, but also Epic Mickey 2. We have 22 people watching. We are now going to be doing what we've been playing, which is we got River City, we got Yokai Watch 2 Bony Spirits, we got Paper Mario. Donald played that weird leaked version. And I look forward to this chat number dropping in half. But it's time, Donald. It's time to talk about what we've been playing. I think you should start.
Okay, which one do you want? Do you want the game that leaked or the game I reviewed?
I think you should talk about Paper Mario first, as much as you want, and then you should talk for 3 minutes about River City Ransom, and then I'll talk about Yokai Watch.
Yeah. Okay, so Paper Mario, at this point, I have played through. I'm into the dungeon that leads up to the big boss fight that they showed at E3 with, I think it's Morton Koopa Jr. I am about to embark on that. As somebody who did not play Sticker Star, I need to preface everything I say by I did not play Sticker Star.
Mm-hmm.
I am enjoying this game. It would probably get the dreaded 7.5 if I was reviewing it, but I am enjoying it.
So it's Sticker Star 7.5.
Yeah, except for people who are coming into this expecting 1000-year door HD, just to let you know, not gonna happen.
It's still got a fucking world map.
It's got a world map. It's got some cute throwbacks. The humor is pretty good. I mean, I didn't even mind the Richard Nixon joke that blew up Twitter for a hot minute over the summer. And some of the decisions that they've made with as far as attacks go, I'm really wondering if Intelligent Systems got into the good stuff when they were developing those.
Because of the crazy animations they have for the things.
Yeah, the album art for this, the side images, the fan, which is blowing them over the planet. There is. I had to wait until my roommate's younger sister left so I could try the plunger, because they bust out the saxophone for that, if you know what I mean.
Should I look this up?
Yes, just watch it. Just watch out for the version that has the extra sound effects added to it, because, well, they work in the little details, like Mario doing this and then, okay, I don't think I need to see this, while the plunger is doing that to the enemies.
I only see music from it. It's all right. I'll see it on my own time.
I don't know how far back into my Twitter you have to go, but there is a GIF of it out there.
Okay, I'll be searching.
Yeah. So I mean, it's good humor. I mean, the exploration's fun, if a little hinky. there's a lot of areas that you need to fill in with paint, and I'm finding I'm getting to 97, 98% of the areas, but getting 100% completion is going to drive me insane.
Hmm. What's this
And
Goomba?
yeah, that Goomba's about to get messed up. Yeah. So
What's, are there sound effects in addition to this that make it even weirder?
somebody overlay or did a tweet video which had some porno movie sound effects overlaid on it.
Mm. Mm. Yum.
You can probably see that coming, but
Nice one, Donald.
yeah, the phrasing. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm still pretty early on. I think there's like 6 worlds in this game or something along those lines, but it's a fun adventure game. It's just I'm I want to not I don't want to have to worry about the combat, and I'm still at the point where it's like, okay, I'm having to spend 30 coins every turn because you eventually unlock a way to buy cards if you don't have them on there, and they throw coins at you like mad. So that shouldn't be a problem for people that want to do a lot of fighting.
But you're enjoying this weird adventure game
This
with
weird
hits of RPG.
with shall we say light RPG elements.
Yeah, yeah. Should I get this game, Donald?
Of I don't think I would recommend full pricing it, but I would probably I think it might be worth a rental or a Gamers Club Unlocked flyer on it.
Oh, so so give it the old Star
I
Fox Zero recommendation.
may I don't know. Maybe this thing will nosedive in price like Star Fox Zero did as well. But
Yeah, you can get that game for like $24 on Amazon right now, right?
yeah, so I but I mean I technically shouldn't be saying these kind of things right now, especially since the review should be up middle of the week from Matt West. But
You know
he
what? You obtained this game legitimately. No one from Nintendo's PR is watching this. Also, stream Donald. Don't worry about it. You
yeah,
know what? I'll take the heat.
okay,
Um, whatever.
yeah,
Anyway, yeah. This is cool.
it's
Paper
a
Mario. I'm not gonna buy it, but that saves me $60, right?
yeah, or 50 if you're Gamers Club. But yeah, the yeah, it's I don't regret taking the flyer on it just because hey, it's cool to say I got something 2 weeks early, but it's you really need to be wanting what they're selling here to really get full value out of it.
Okay,
So
and then
if you hated Sticker Star, this is a better version of Sticker Star for whatever that's worth.
yeah. So what? I don't know what that's worth. Sticker Star was a very colorful, cute game with a lot of mechanical issues. What's Nintendo's been putting out a lot of like weird 6 and 7 out of 10s in the last few years, haven't they?
Yeah, a lot of the spin-offs. I know I know Intelligent Systems was hiring for this game, so I mean this is I think the best way to say it is it's Sticker Star done right.
Yeah.
Whether that holds any appeal to you or not, I can't say.
Have there been any moments so far, 5 hours in, where the adventure elements are so there's an adventure section that's so challenging, but with like sneer quotes around it that like you don't feel like you can solve it without looking something up.
There's been a couple of times where I have unlocked an area, but haven't realized that I don't have the item I need to get to it.
Okay. So maybe, but you haven't felt absurdly stuck yet.
No, because I'm still at a point where there's not very many places to go. So if I go around, I will eventually find something.
Okay.
But there are guides out for this, and there's been a couple of occasions where I've peeked ahead a little bit.
Okay. And speaking of games that you would give the dreaded 7.5 to, why don't you tell me what a game you actually gave the dreaded 7.5 to?
Yeah, so River City Tokyo Rumble came out this week and instantly sold out. I got a pre-release copy, and yeah, it's if again, fans of River City Ransom, if you enjoyed that great game on the NES, and I did, it's more of that. It's just some of the things that River City Ransom did in the night that we maybe didn't care about as much. They're still there, and they're annoying in 2016.
Like what?
Like when the enemies go down and they drop their loot, you have an AI partner for most of the game, and the AI partner will not grab the loot. So if they're on the other side of the screen, you have to haul ass over there to get that drop before it disappears.
I don't know about that one.
Which, I mean, if it's like a 50 yen piece, that's fine. But if it's like a rare, like the thing that sells for a lot of money that they drop, that's very irritating.
How much should I pay for this game? Like $11?
Not somebody tends to put their stuff on sale pretty often. I'd say it's a good 20. I'd say if for you, I'd say drop about $10 and you should be fine. The only issue, like, I got some value out of the multiplayer, but I don't know if you're going to have the same success with that.
Mm-hmm.
But this game it's long for a brawler, but it's really short if you're looking for an RPG. And God knows there aren't enough. There are plenty of those on the 3DS right now.
Nintendon, our good friend Don Koopman says, "Believe me, it gets better. You have seen nothing yet." Referring to Sticker Star.
Or Color Splash?
Or yeah. Color Sticker Star 2. Excuse me.
Yeah, I should know that. I was actually I've talked to Don about this had a couple of things come across me with that from Don, but yeah, Tokyo Rumble. It's more River City Ransom. It's if you think you're gonna have if you might get some value out of the multiplayer, or if you just really want a throwback brawler, this is a good way to go.
Right. I've been playing Yokai Watch 2. I have Bony Spirits. James Jones has Fleshy Souls, but he's going to be using that as podcast fodder. I'm on the review. You can read a preview of my first few hours with Yokai Watch Bony Spirits on the site. I was very excited for the original Yokai Watch. I played it for all of 2 hours. I think I was expecting like a level 5 take on a Pokemon game, when really that's not what this is, as much as that they think it is and I think it is. Yokai Watch was just not Pokemon in any way. It didn't have the world. It didn't have the battle system. The yokai looked like trash, which also sounds super mean and hyperbolic. But the designs of the yokai in the original Yokai Watch were garbage, and the names were garbage, and the voice acting was garbage. But it was also a beautiful looking game. But also the game was a little mechanically weird. More than being mechanically weird, they just really poorly explained Yokai Watch, how the game works mechanically. Like, they kind of threw you into a mini boss battle way too early on before properly explaining the way the battle system worked. They the game had the wrong difficulty level for that kind of game that early on. And I was not having fun, and it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth immediately, and I wasn't getting into the characters, and I wasn't getting into the yokai, and I gave up, I think, just under 2 hours in. So
yeah, that's about the point where I actually dropped out of the game as well, because I
right
picked it
after
up.
that, like Desmeralda, like the big one that was like making your parents fight. After that one, you like gave up basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm playing Yokai Watch 2 right now, and I wasn't necessarily excited for it. I put my name down as like I'm interested in the review or whatever, but I was like, I don't know. Yokai Watch 2 is an immediately better game than the original Yokai Watch. Before even talking about the game mechanically, it eases you into the world and battles and all and like those elements. It immerses you into the gameplay, the world, the story, the characters, the yokai themselves far better than the original Yokai Watch does. For instance, right now I'm 7 hours in to Yokai Watch 2, which is over 3 times as much as I played in the original Yokai Watch. And it's still pretty easy. Not easy in that like, oh, this is kind of boring way, but easy in that like weird, comfy level 5 Nintendo kind of way, if you know what I'm talking about, Donald.
Yeah, like I reviewed LBX for the site last year, so I kind of get where you're going with that.
Right. Like level 5 has this tendency to make games that are super comfy, even if they oftentimes rely on some grindy or fetch questy or some like normally not that good mechanics. Level 5 does two things, right? They make games that feel really, really comfy to play, and they make games that they make small maps with a lot of stuff to do in it. Like they make small open worlds with a lot of stuff to explore. And those are two things that they do here. Now, as for the battles themselves, the game explains the battles far better, and it gives you a far better selection of yokai earlier on. So you very quickly understand, okay, this isn't Pokemon. This is a more passive, almost Final Fantasy 13 style of combat, where I have to know which yokai to swap to at the right time. I have to know how to like manage my yokai's health. I have to know how to like manage a few of these other things. I need to know what these elements mean. But other than that, it's a super laid back, passive JRPG battle system. And the biggest thing that kept me from playing Yokai Watch 1 was the fact that I just couldn't accept how passive the battle system in Yokai Watch was. But because they explained it better and because they ease you into it better here, it's way more, I don't want to say tolerable, but like you're on the same page as the battle system this time around, and you feel a little more comfortable with actually like letting it be a little more passive and letting yourself have a little more fun with it.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm still on the fence as far as getting this, especially since because of River City and Color Splash, I haven't been able to get as much into Dragon Quest VII as I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And then SMT Apocalypse came in right before that.
Oh.
So I have enough RPG on my plate right now, but the way you're talking, I'm thinking I better get on this while I can still get discounted.
I will say it's not as long as I expected it to be. I'm still only 7 hours in, but based on looking at how many chapters there are in the game, I'm about 50% of the way through, which makes me feel like this is going to be like a 15 to 17 hour game, which is really acceptable for this kind of JRPG.
Oh,
Like
good.
it has a very brisk pace to it. Like the game moves in a really nice way. The story feels like a kid's WB. Donald, probably you can't necessarily identify with that totally, but you know, like those Saturday morning cartoons where you have a few like Western cartoons and you have like a few localized anime, like you know those like super bad voice acting, but like weirdly comfy shows from like Saturday mornings when you were a kid,
like Fox Kids or like
Fox
on Saturday
Kids,
morning.
the Yu-Gi-Oh, the Pokemon, the Shaolin Showdown, the Jackie Chan Adventures. Like this the game gives you that kind of feeling. It's super shitty voice acting and that kind of cookie cutter, really comfort food plot that I expect out of a level 5 game. It's to a lesser extent those kinds of plots exist in Layton. To a much more significant to extent, you will see that kind of plot in Inazuma 11, which I think is level 5's best game. Personally, even though no one bought it, I think the original Inazuma 11 is fucking fantastic. And Yokai Watch 2, if you're not expecting Pokemon, like if you don't force yourself to like look at this as a Pokemon game, and if you can accept the fact that this is a more passive game and you just want a nice, easy, kid-friendly JRPG with a few grindy fetch quests here and there, as these kinds of games are wont to have, I give this game the Alex seal of approval so far. I still gotta play more, but Donald, you know how you review a game and like the score in your mind changes as you play the game? Like now it's a 7.5, now it's a 7, now it's a 6, now it's an 8, like such and such and such and such.
Yeah, I tend to have I tend to be accurate, but there's been a couple of games this year where the score ended up way different than what I thought it would.
Sure. Right. So it's normally I feel like I'm generally accurate too. But with this game right now, at 7 hours in, I'm leaning towards on a nice low 8.
Okay.
Which is like it's definitely a vast improvement. The entire experience, in my opinion, is such a vast improvement over the first Yokai Watch. This is a fun video game I can definitely recommend, as opposed to the first Yokai Watch, where I played it and immediately I was like, "This isn't Pokemon." So Yokai Watch 2 is I'm having a pretty good time with that.
All right. So looks like once I get through the 150 hours of JRPG on my 3DS, I'll throw another 15 on there just for a nice bit of relaxation.
And as you do that, I may finally unwrap Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Oh, you're gonna be on that one for a while, man.
Yeah, I ended up giving up on hashtag Fire Emblem. At least for a long while, I could pick it up one day, as we sometimes do with JRPGs. But I got to the halfway mark, to like the 24 hour mark. I realized that the game was sort of moving in like a cyclical rotation of it's like how that game I've told you this before, how that game like moves in like a weird repetitive cycle story wise, and it started to turn me off around the halfway mark.
I don't know. Maybe it appealed to me more because I still had Persona fresh to mind, where it's like, okay, what the hell do I do now? But without pulling up an FAQ, but maybe that just clicks better with me than it does with you.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay, we got a couple more things in the chat. Ms. 1K3 says you need to play Xenoblade Chronicles X. I shall. Posey says Yokai Watch is amazing, but you don't play for the battling, you play for the characters and plot. The anime is 10 out of 10. I don't know if I'll ever end up watching the anime, although I'll take your word for it. I agree with what you're saying. As for, like, in a weird way, how Pokemon is, like, not really about the story, but a lot of it's about the battling and the world it takes place in. Yokai Watch is more about the characters and the plot and like the feeling of being in that world more than it's about the battle and the Pokemon side of it. So I would say it's a reverse Pokemon in that way. And then we got a question from Matthew Kelly. Hey NWR, do you think we might have a chance to have Nintendo? Let's see if I can read this question. Hey NWR, do you think we might get a chance to have Nintendo eShop for the NES Classic Edition? Since I did see the glow icon in the Game Explained showcase. I think not.
No, they specifically said that what is on the systems as it starts is going to be that is it. Maybe they release a second model down the road that, in the Famicom shape or whatever for North America that has some more games, but they've specifically said multiple times that this thing does not have access to the eShop.
They would need their own dedicated eShop built from the ground up for this thing. Because just think about how poor the communication is already between the 3DS and the Wii U eShops. And you can't just straight up put the Wii U eShop on this thing. Like, you would need to build your own from the ground up.
Yeah, I mean, the interface, the way they showed it, down the road or in a future revision, they maybe could put a store on there that works in the same way. It's like, oh, you have these to start. Here's a link. We'll show you some more games in the same fashion. You can buy them if you want, but you'd still have to have a way to hook up a Nintendo, a Nintendo account to it.
Nintendon says, Alex, I would totally give a European 3DS and both Inazuma Go games. They are dumb, great dumb. Dan, we may talk after the show. I may be interested in giving you some money for those Inazuma games, because Inazuma 11, I think, is the most criminally underrated eShop exclusive game on the North American eShop. That game is fucking nutso.
Yeah,
And it feels like one of those like cool RPGs from the GBA era.
Just a shame about the damn region lock, because then you wouldn't have to import a 2DS or something to play it.
Absolutely. Oh, okay. But just for the Globe icon, Matt Kelly, I think it'll be for updates. I think putting in a cheap Wi-Fi like dongle costs about $2 now if it's inside the box. Making it for updates just in case there's anything broken. That seems like something they could totally do. Cherry Goblin, Alex, have you played Headlander yet? I have not, but I have it downloaded and I'm going to play it in the next week. So if you ask me that question again on the next week's show, I will totally remember. If you hit me up on Twitter at Kulafia, Culafia, I will also tell you next week what I think of it. Now, patreon.com/NWR is the Patreon where you can help support the site, keep it alive, keep it going strong. You can get some exclusive content. Neil and Andy got their cube fight. We have some articles going up early. Here's something exciting. We are almost at 100 episodes of Nintendo News Report / Nintendo World Report at Night, which is basically, it's all Nintendo News Report. This is just the name we give these episodes. So we're almost at 100 episodes. So the thing you guys have been asking for, the one thing everyone's asking for us to do with this podcast, talks have started about what we need to do to make it happen. I can't promise the timeline, but what you guys are asking for us to do with this show, we are trying to make it happen. So we will see very soon.
And one other thing to plug on the site tomorrow, assuming everything goes according to plan, the information for the NWR live podcast telethon for Child's Play will be going up. That'll be on October 15th. We have a segment relatively early in the day, and we might have a very special guest considering the nature of what we're talking about.
Yes, I still need to ask him. I need to take some time off work. But we got a very special Nintendo News Report segment planned for the telethon. I'm pretty excited about it. But alas, that is our show. It is 11:07 p.m. Donald Terrio, we found at Donald Mick, DONALDMICK, NFR Podcast, NFR Podcast for his other show. I'm on Twitter at CULAFIA. That is Kulafia. Have a good night, everybody. Take care. Get home safe. Bye-bye.
Go Blue Jays.